Welcome to the Bywords Show. I'm your host, Hannah Hughes. Bywords is all about equipping women for purposeful living by starting conversations, celebrating stories, and inspiring faith. In a world that applauds the hustle, I'm here to help you break free from the lies and come back to what really matters. It's time to get real, get rooted in truth, and come alive in relationship with Jesus so you can show up to each day with intention and confidence no matter where you're at in your story. Here we believe that embracing our stories brings hope, healing, and purpose to the process, and sharing our stories helps others do the same. Whether you're looking for a midweek faith refresh, practical tools for pursuing your dreams, or just need some good old-fashioned girl talk, you're in the right place. Grab your latte and let's dive in. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Byword Show. Today is the day, you guys, and I'm so glad you're here. You guys are in for a treat, okay? Because we've got Toni Collier here with us today, and we were literally just talking about how we have been working for a while to get this podcast happening, and we're finally sitting down here today. And Toni, I just gotta say, I'm so happy to be here with you.
I am too, truly. Like my kids are, one of them is asleep, one of them's downstairs. I'm like, nobody talk to me, do not make eye contact. I'm excited and I'm grateful and I think it's gonna be good.
I do too, girl. I'm so excited. And you guys, we just spoke at the same conference a week or two ago, and it was the first time I really got to hear you speak and share so much of your story and your heart. And I just, oh man, like I'm so fired up for this conversation we're going to have today because I know you have such an incredible testimony and heart to talk about healing and brokenness and community. And I'm just so excited to get into that. But of course, before we get started, y'all know I have to ask you our warm up question, Toni, which is what is filling your cup lately? Literally what's in your cup, but also figuratively.
Yeah. No, truly, I'm a gym girly pop. Okay. And we just built like a new location of our gym. And it has been amazing. Like building new community, watching people like be timid at first and not know each other and be super nervous and to like, hey girl, let's take a selfie. Like it's just, I love community. I love people. I have tested very high on the extrovert, whatever, all the scales, all the personality tests, like 90s. I'm like 97th percentile extrovert. I actually get like super depressed when I have to drive by myself too fast, too long.
Whoa.
So I love people and I love community and getting to see a community build from the bottom up. And I've seen it with churches, but like to be outside of the church and to still see that humanity, even if it's not deeply connected to the church, is still alive and well and kind and generous and amazing. And so, yeah, that's been my thing. I go to the gym 5:30 a.m., baby.
Ooh, I love that, girl. Okay. And then what's
Yeah.
literally in your cup? What do you like to, what's your drink of choice?
Okay. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I have an addictive personality. First of all, let me just say that. This is why like I had to stop with drugs a while ago because I just, and, it's like go in, you know what I'm saying? Go big or go home. So, but I think like because I have such an addictive personality, I like get super obsessed about something, specifically drinks. I do not know why. And then I just hate them. So it all depends. You're catching me on a matcha train. I'm on the matcha train.
Ooh.
I have been matchaing myself every morning, and there will be a moment where I'm like, I hate matcha. And I don't know why that happens, but here we are with my little
That is
matcha
so funny.
and my little agave.
Okay, I love that. I'm also a matcha girly, but that's so funny because I'm literally the same way. Like I have, you see those girls with the hyperfixation meal or something on TikTok, all that. Like I was doing that when I was in high school, except it was weird. It was like I ate oatmeal for every meal for a lunch and then I got tired of it and never wanted it again. I don't know. I also was going through a lot. Like I had some stuff happening. But
Right.
now it's like, yeah, I still do that. Right now it's pirate's booty. Like I just literally cannot
Them
stop
little
eating
puffs,
that.
baby, them little puffs are crazy. Okay, I love it. They melt in your mouth. They're kind of healthy, I think.
I mean, it
Maybe.
could be worse, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. This is what I say all the time. My nanny makes fun of me because she's like, Toni, you try to make everything healthy. I'm like, no, this is a little healthier than because it could be worse.
Exactly. I
I know.
know. So when my husband's like, "You really should probably slow down on the pirate's booty," I'm like, you know what? It could be a pint of Ben and Jerry's every day, but it's
And
not.
that's what I'm trying to say to you and to the people that are listening and watching. So thank you.
Exactly. We're on the same wavelength. I love this.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're going to get into, we're just going to get into it today.
Yeah.
Like I have a feeling we're probably just going to go there. And I love, Toni, that you just are willing to talk about the hard stuff because you've been through it. But you have this perspective on healing and hope that is so powerful.
Mm,
So, why don't I just get out of the way so you can share your story
okay.
and what got you into this world about like
Yeah.
writing, speaking on brokenness?
Man, I the term pain and a purpose is so cliche, but it's just tried and true, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord just does not waste pain. He just doesn't. That's not what he's not in the business of that. He is premeditating that there's going to be pain in this world in our stories because we live under a curse. Shout out to Eve because she just could not let the charcuterie go, baby girl. Okay, I know there was other things to eat. I know there was. Okay, but there's sin in the world, right? There's brokenness, and so I think that because we serve a God who knows the beginning and the end and everything in between, He's just a master planner. Like He knows it, and so there's been a lot of pain in my life, and at every single corner, okay, every turn, the Lord has repurposed it for His
Mm,
glory, not for mine, and that's been my story over and over and over and over again. When I look back on my childhood, I mean, I grew up in a blended family. I had three older brothers. My mom and dad were working, living their best lives. And my mom had a massive stroke when I was 8 years
mm,
old, and it completely took her out. I mean, she couldn't walk. She was paralyzed on her full left side, and I kind of turned into like this tiny little caregiver. My counselor calls it parentification when, the natural progression of you being a child and being cared for to your parents getting to a place where you need to care for them was kind of short circuited, right? So at 8 years
yeah.
old, I'm taking care of my mama. And it just kind of took the innocence of childhood away. And there were so many other things that took the innocence away too. I was sexually manipulated and fondled with by cousins. And at 13, I
Mm,
lost my virginity to a much older guy. At 16, I left my parents' house after I started drinking, partying, smoking, twerking, oh Lord, all the things, and left at 16 years old, which I look at my
mm,
almost 11-year-old daughter now and I'm like, holy goodness, I was exposed to so much by
yeah.
11 years old. Pornography at 7, flipping through channels, laying down with my mama. She was knocked out on all kinds of medicine and rolled upon pornography and got addicted to it through middle school, through high school, through college. And in college, I went even a little bit more crazy and wild. Partied real hard. Nights I do not remember at all. Went to everybody college and everybody party and slept with everybody's son. Okay? Just wild. Just a wild party girl. And when I was 19, I decided to get engaged to a guy that I knew for 3 months. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's good, okay? I was really smart, like, book-wise, but the common sense was far away from me, and I had a lot of insecurities. My dad was really verbally abusive, he was an alcoholic for a long time. The Lord has since redeemed our relationship, but I just was alone, and when a child, a preteen, a teen is alone, you're not protected, and
Mm,
you as kids, we say kids are so resilient, but really they're just able to compartmentalize better than us because they're so ignorant and innocent. And that was
mm,
what was happening. My innocence was being infiltrated by darkness, and ended up getting married at 21. Also got saved at 21, which shocked
mm.
everybody. They were like, "Well, I don't know how the Lord's gonna use you because you're at the youth group still high." Okay. But I was a fan of God and not a follower when I first entered into ministry. So I lived kind of this double life where Sunday I knew every worship song, but Friday and Saturday I was still a party girl, but I was just married, right? And my first marriage was really abusive, verbally abusive. I had learned to numb those parts of me that would have been healthy enough to say that this is abuse, because of my dad, because he was always cursing us out and all the things. And so I just thought that was a normal part of love.
Mm,
And I remember when my daughter was 1, we ended up getting married, and I just realized it just wasn't a safe environment to raise a kid, and I left. And it was brave, but it was very hard. Ended up living with
mm.
another single mom and her daughter, and it was really tough. I had to rebuild my whole entire life, and then I got remarried. And I thought I hit the jackpot, honey. I was like, "This is a Cinderella story. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm God's favorite. I married a pastor." I was like, "Yeah, redemption is mine." And about 2 years ago, my ex-husband and I went through a very public divorce, my second
Mm,
divorce, and it was because, he had to call me to tell me that he was being extorted by a prostitute. And it was like the 19th time he had cheated and all the things. And so
mm.
it's tough to go through divorce, as we know. And it's really, really difficult to go through it publicly. And God just turned all that pain into purpose. And that's what I'm
Wow.
counting on. I am counting on every single hard thing in my life, the things that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and the things that happened 2 years ago. I'm just still believing that he is gonna rework all of this ratchet stuff for his ultimate glory. And I just really get to be the innocent bystander that sees the Lord say, "Oh, I see what the enemy is doing in her life. I see that the enemy is using abuse and manipulation and infidelity to try to crush her, and I won't let it." And
Mm,
and that's what I'm telling people. I'm like, "Life sucks out here, okay? It's the ghetto." And we will see the goodness of God in the land of the living. He's coming. He's on the way.
mm.
And that's what I'm banking on. And I've seen it and I've witnessed it, and you really can't tell me nothing else. Eitherwise, you can live your best and most glorious life, but I'm living with the expectation that the Lord will continue to turn my pain into purpose. So, yeah.
I I so just like I can see your faith in that, like how
Yeah.
solid it's become through gosh, I'm sure years of refining and like really
Yeah.
being willing to commit to the hard process of trusting God through the crap. And I love that you're so honest about that though, because a big part of my story was that I went through all these struggles and then came to
Yeah.
this moment where I experienced healing and overcoming. And I was like, yes, this is purpose. And
Yeah.
now my life is going to be this beautiful story of
Oh,
living in the
yeah.
glory, never going to struggle again, never have to go back there, you know? And
Yep.
then, LOL, surprise, back there and worse, you know, like struggle still came. And I was at this place then where I was like, whoa, God, I thought you were good. Like I thought you were a healer. I thought that I was
Mhm.
past this. And here I am now again, my life falling apart. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to hold that tension of like,
100%.
God is good even when my life is falling apart. So like, how do you hold on to that
Yeah.
when, you know, like life unfortunately is just never going to get to this point of arrival and perfection on this side of heaven. So like, how do we
Yeah.
hold on to hope when
Yep.
life is still hard and we still don't see
Yeah.
the answered prayer or whatever it's, you know, like whatever we're holding out for?
Yeah. I get to, serve a local shelter here in Atlanta once or twice
Mm,
a month. I've been doing it for almost as long as I had to announce my divorce publicly because I just believe that the Lord deeply wanted me to still be in the trenches even when I was in pain, right? Because that's what Jesus did. He, like,
mm,
saved a whole humanity, a whole race, while in deep pain, and I wanna be like Jesus, and so I go there, and I get this question a lot from the women that have suffered molestation, prostitution, I mean, some of the most
mm.
horrific things, and I love being in that space because we don't fall into the pain comparison trap, like, no one's pain is greater than the other person's pain, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that, and we
Mm,
also are faced with the reality that some of these women, I mean, they've been in the prostitution game, they've been in prison, they've been manipulated and sold and all these different things, and it's very difficult with that amount of pain and that extreme, betrayal and abuse to believe in a good God, and so
right.
they're like the guinea pigs of this. And so my response to them when they ask in the face of so much pain and betrayal and abuse is 3 things. Number 1, it's knowledge. You have to know who God is, period,
Mm,
for yourself. You have to know it and you have to believe it. And you have to know and understand what sin is and what darkness and brokenness is. Knowledge around where we sit in the story of humanity is what saves us when we're asking the question, why do bad things happen to good people? Because that's what this essentially is.
right.
And the knowledge, something really clicked for me, at least personally, when I realized that we were actually designed to be in Eden, that the Lord had created a green jumpy place for us to be frolicking around in as little Teletubbies, butt naked. Like, that actually was his design. That we had perfect communion with him, that we had access to his divinity, that we were made in his image, that we had limitless resources, that we did not
Mm,
experience pain, that we didn't know regret or anxiety or depression or abuse or anxiety. We did not know it because he didn't design us for that.
yeah.
Knowing God's intention helps me to know him and understand him better. And it helps me understand pain more because pain is
Mm,
caused by sin, some sort of sin, some sort of sinful person. We are living in the in between of heaven invading earth. We are no longer in Eden. It's gone. Eve, again, we love her, okay? But rest her precious soul. messed that up. And Adam, let's be honest about that. He was there. He was right next to her actually, and did not say much. Okay. I'm now smart enough theologically, which all of us can have access to know that this was not God's intention, that his intention was goodness and freedom for us, that
Mm,
sin came into the world and cursed that intention, and we're living in the in between of it. And so now I don't have to blame God for my pain, because actually I can blame the story the story of evil and sin and a curse entering into the world and infiltrating our minds, hearts, bodies, everything. The diseases
mm,
that we have to process through, the abuse that we have endured, those things are a byproduct of sin, not a byproduct of God. And the last thing that I would say for this, those are the first two. So the first thing is knowledge. You have to know, like you have to fully know it. The second
mm,
thing is you have to be able to have hope. When I think about counsel women that are wrestling with suicidal ideation and thoughts and all the things, the thing that they lack is hope. And
mm,
hope simply is the belief that things can get better. When you're absent of hope, there is no future for you. You don't see it.
mm,
It's like, no, it can't get better. So the question is like, where do we get hope? Well, the Bible says that hope doesn't disappoint, right? That we can actually hope for a better future and it will not disappoint us. We will not be embarrassed or put to shame because our hope is tethered to the Creator and the Redeemer.
mm,
And because God, if we continue in the storyline of smart theology, because the Lord sent our big brother, figuratively, Jesus, to come and save us, then we got access to him, and now we have access to his full-on power, says 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. It's like trade our weakness for his power, our weakness being the sin, broken curse of this world. For his power, he's coming to save us. He
mm,
is not going to let the pain crush us. So my hope is not put in humanity, my followers, my comments, my likes. My hope is put in a Jesus that saves and redeems. And he's coming for the scraps. He's not leaving anything untouched. No, he's not going to let evil and the curse win. He's coming for us. But we have to put and place our hope in the right place. And the third thing is people.
mm.
We need people and stories and testimonies to remind us what God has already done and
Yes.
what he will continue to do. We need people to prove to us that God plays no favorites. That the woman that's in the women's shelter that I go to every single month has access to the same God and the same hope and the same power and the same redemption as I do as a pastor, speaker, whatever the world you want to call it. We have to have people around us to continue to be Jesus with skin on and prove to us that we're going to make it. And in the moments where we're completely crushed, they wipe our tears. They take care of our kids. They come and drop over a meal. They come and clean our house for us. We need people. And so that's it. And you can end the podcast now because that's all you need.
Yep.
Bing.
I love that though, because
Yeah.
I think even just that piece of hope,
Yeah.
like it's so easy. And I was just thinking about this earlier today, how often I let my circumstances determine how good I believe God to be. And it's
100%.
easy when you're in a season of pain, suffering, grief to be like, God is good. Like, look at my
Liar.
life right now. This is a mess.
Yeah.
And I love how you bring it back to the narrative of the story that
Yeah.
anything bad that's happening, it's not a reflection of God, it's a reflection of our sin in this broken
Yeah.
world. And it's so the scheme of the enemy to want to keep
Oh,
us trapped there because then God never gets the glory if we just believe those lies. So like what's going on there? Like when we're in pain,
yeah.
what does the enemy want to do to keep us
Yeah.
trapped there? And how do we keep from like giving into that crap?
Yeah. So let me be completely honest here. I mean, I've been honest the whole time, guys, but I don't know. It feels better when you say, let me be honest. Back in September of 2024, I was pissed at God for the first
Mm,
time in my whole life. I mean, I only been on the salvation bus for like 12 years. I was so grateful when I got saved. I was 21. I was like hanging on by a thread, honey. Like I just was wild. And to think that a God loved me and wanted to save me and redeem me was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. So I've never been mad at him because I've been so grateful for him.
mm,
And when you're in as much pain as I was in, I would say the worst pain of my life. I really believed that my ex-husband was had begun to be faithful, that we had healed our marriage. He caught him cheating the first time 2 years in our marriage, and then 5 years later he still was, and I just didn't know it. And so it
mm.
really came out of nowhere. I just had our son. I had to get tested for HIV AIDS. I mean, it was like disgusting and overwhelming and
Yeah.
It just was terrible. And I had to do it in public. And I had kids and a nanny from Brazil. Like, I was like, this is messed up right now, you know? Like, it was so tough. And my source of income was speaking on going on the road, but I also felt the Lord say that I needed to take a break. And so I'm like,
Mm.
that's interesting because how am I going to provide for this family that I now am in charge of? At first, I was super mad at my ex-husband. And I mean, to this day, I don't even still look him in the eye, honestly. But forgiveness is on its way, you know? But I think I hated that I was so angry with another human because I'd never been. I'm a very forgiving person. I am a Teletubby at heart. I love people so much. And I didn't want to hate my ex-husband. It's the father of my son. I did not want to hate him. And because all of that hate overwhelmed me and that anger overwhelmed me, I placed it at the cross. Because I think for us, it is actually easier to be mad at God. It's easier to be
Mm.
mad at an unseen figure that we have to just believe in than the person that deeply betrayed us. We take the cheap way out, and God doesn't mind, which is the thing that, like, blew my mind. I was
Mm.
so ashamed and embarrassed as a pastor, as a leader, to be mad at the one that I'm proclaiming is the truth and the way and the life, that I was, like, harboring that anger. And I remember literally driving out of my neighborhood one day, headed to the gym, and I didn't wanna talk to God. I was like, "The quiet time, I'm done. I'm gonna read a good book. I'm fine." And I just couldn't hold it anymore because he has been such an intimate part of my life, and I just was like, "I'm so mad at you." At first, I masked it as, like, disappointment. Like, I'm so disappointed, but no, I'm angry.
Mm.
I'm so angry that you didn't stop this. I just felt the Spirit of the Lord say to me, "You can be mad, Toni. I can handle it." I went on to have a counseling session with my counselor, and she said, "It's okay to have those feelings, you know, as counselors do." And she
Mm.
also said to me, "Toni, this wasn't the rescue you would have planned. It wasn't the rescue you wanted, but it was the one that God knew you needed. And it's painful. He's not going to waste it because he never does." And so
Mm.
Toni, I know that this right now in this moment is hard. And that's why I'm here as a counselor to process through the grief and hold it with you and share the pain with you until you get to a place where I am now today. And it is, wow, God is not intimidated by my anger and my doubt and my questions or my disappointment. He actually is closer to me now that he knows what I really feel. What she said was true. It was not the rescue I wanted. I deeply wanted my marriage to work. I really did. I wanted I did not want to go through a second divorce. I did not want to take my daughter through a second divorce. It was unwanted. It was an unwanted divorce. About 3 months ago, my daughter and I were driving into my neighborhood, and she turned to me and she said, "This is gonna sound a little weird. I know, like, this last year has been so hard for us, but I kind of feel like our life is better."
Mm.
And out of the mouth of babes, you're reminded that I do sleep better. I'm at peace, single, am seeing the Lord do crazy, crazy things that I just don't think I would have seen him do. Still in a
Mm.
marriage that wasn't healthy and it wasn't God honoring. The Lord has opened doors for me in just mind blowing ways. And I would not trade it at all.
Mm.
I wouldn't trade the pain and the grief and the embarrassment, the public embarrassment for what I've seen the Lord do with my pain. I would
Mm.
do it again and again and again and again and again. And man, the enemy hates that. He hates that
Mhm.
we're like, no, we're loyal to the one who created us. He's not going to let us down. I'm going to keep believing. I'm going to keep fighting. And honestly, I've gotten a little bit of an attitude about it. I'm like, punk enemy, come on. We do so much spiritual warfare, and we have seen the Lord be like, not that one. Not that one. She's mine. That's what keeps me going. That's what we get to shove in the enemy's face and say, "I know you really want me to give up on my creator, but he created me. So he knows me,
Mm.
he knows my path, and you don't get to have that." So, bye boy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so crazy to me how we're in this world now where so many people, either people who grew up in the church or people
Yeah,
who are just very skeptical of faith, are going through this deconstruction thing.
sure.
And a lot of the times what it comes down to is they've experienced this pain and they have this anger, this disappointment, and they don't know what to do with it. And
Yeah,
I feel like there's this process. We get to this point in our pain,
yeah.
and I think it happens kind of over and over in our lives, but we have this option. Is this thing that I'm feeling gonna be
Mm,
what makes me give up on this relationship with the Lord?
mm,
Or what happens if we give it to him? And like you said, he was there closer than before. Like he's probably just like, oh, finally, yes, like get that off your chest, get it out of the way. I just want to be close to you. Like
yeah,
I want to carry this for you. I want to walk with you through this. Like
yeah.
it breaks my heart that so many people think that their pain is going to derail their faith and relationship
I
with the
think
Lord, when
yeah,
really it's this thing that God is like, just bring it all.
yeah,
Like you said, he's not going to let it go to waste. So
ever.
what do you say to people who maybe are stuck in that tension where it's like, I don't know how to keep going. Like faith to me just feels really hard. Like, is it worth it to keep going and trusting that God is
Yeah.
good when life just feels like it's not getting better?
No, it's true. I have an 8-week women's course that I do, and it's for this. It's like women that are like, "I'm stuck. I have hit a wall. I do not know where to go. What am I supposed to do?" We essentially do a few things. Like, this is it's a very complex question actually, because I do think we lack resilience, and resilience is
Mm,
not like a character trait. It's a thing that you earn and you fight for.
mm.
And resilience, and I always tell the women in the course group this, like, I'm not trying to prepare you to never go through something painful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to increase your capacity to hold the pain.
Mm,
That's resilience. Is being able to say, I have enough of these things that when something comes my way, I can bounce back. We talk about a replenishment cycle. What does it actually look like for you to do things that give you life consistently on a cyclical schedule? For me, that's
mm.
going out in nature, worshiping. I can't really sing too well, but baby, I'm going to belt out these worship songs. I'm going to be louder than the worship leader at the church. Okay. I love it. I don't know. The Lord just made me like love singing, and I just really can't sing that well, which is weird. Okay. Because you would think maybe that's the humility thing, you know? But when you talk about a replenishment cycle, you running on E is not noble. For some reason,
Mm.
we think it's so noble to be burnt out. I mean, when we used to ask people like 20 years ago, how are you doing? People were like, oh, fine, fine, good, good, good. Now we're like, how are you doing? You're like, busy. Girl, I
Mhm.
stayed up till 7 a.m. Why are you doing it? That's not,
Right?
I'm not sure why we're wearing burnout as a badge of honor, but it's getting weird over
Mhm.
here. So we have to be continually caring for ourselves, our good bodies. Because I mean, my counselor always asks me this, when you get mad, are you sleepy? Is you hungry? Like, what's going on here? And we look up and we're like cursing our family out here. And it's because you ain't ate nothing but a latte today.
Yeah. Yep,
Right? Like,
that'll do it. That will
little
do it.
things Hannah, like, little things like that. Handling a conversation with more grace may mean you taking a nap before you go into the conversation, okay? Replenish,
Mhm.
leaving yourself full at the end of the day, or as full as you can be. We also talk about community. We talk about practicing gratitude. This is a big thing in my house with my 11-year-old, almost 11-year-old. Gratitude's so huge because it actually is produced out of deep places of grief.
Mm.
When you process your grief well, when you're like, man, that sucked, when you name the thing, like, that was unfortunate, I'm gonna have to grieve this. It almost creates this reality that it's like, oh, that was really hard and I can continue on. So I can be grateful that I can continue on.
Mm.
Gratitude, I do believe, is produced out of a place of grieving well, being able to name the things that you've been through, because baby, when I even think about my story, it's so filled with so much pain. The comparison of it, reflecting all of the bad things with my current life, I'm
Mm.
so grateful. I'm like, you mean to tell me that I am not on drugs? Are you kidding me? Like, I was easily on the way to cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like, easy. But when I look back at the fact that I was almost a drug dealer in college, today I'm like, I think me not going after drugs anymore actually was the reason why my brother just recently got saved and stopped doing drugs. He doesn't waste the pain. We just have to do our parts to heal well, to chase after wholeness, to be able to get to those moments and say, it's not going to crush me. Everyone has asked me over and over again, Tony, I really don't know how you made it through that last season. Like, girl, you had to move your house,
Mm.
your kids, you had like the money, you couldn't even work anymore. Your name was being slandered by your ex-husband who wouldn't just admit that he was a cheater. I don't know how do you still smile? How are you still, our first year in our house, like just a couple of months after everything, we did a Christmas Eve party. People are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Well, no, it's not gonna crush me because if I got like I've gotten familiar with pain. I'm not a pain junkie, but I also do know that God's comfort in the pain is greater than the pain itself. So it
Mm.
will not crush me because I've got the comfort combating it, you know? And
Yeah.
I think that's what I've done. I've increased my capacity for pain so that when it comes, I'm like, "Woo, here she go." But I'll get to the other side. I'm not gonna let it crush me, and God won't either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love that. And I think that resilience that you're talking about, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not something that you just have or you don't. It's like this willingness to stay in the process when it sucks and like when it's
Yep.
hard. Like, do we believe that God is good enough to stay in it with Him? And it's so beautiful hearing you talk about your healing journey because I think a lot of Christians have confused healing and getting healthy, getting well with becoming perfect or like finally getting to this point of
Mm.
arrival and completion of the process. If we are hoping for that, yeah, we're going to be disappointed in this faith
Yep.
journey because getting healthy doesn't mean that our life is done with struggles and suffering. It
No.
means that we know how to take care of our spirit, soul, body and relate to
Yep.
the Lord and relate to other people well through our brokenness because we're
Yep.
always going to have stuff, you know? And so I love that. I mean, you talk a lot about this, like what it looks like to heal in community and relationships and being with people and like even showing up
Yep.
in the process. So could you speak to this? Because I know
Yeah.
you mentioned you did take a break from speaking for a bit. And like, how do we know the difference between I don't have to be perfect for God to use my story,
Yeah.
but also there are times where maybe I
Yeah.
need to just retreat for a while and
Yeah.
be in this healing process?
Yeah. One of the people that helped me a bunch through this public divorce and figuring out ministry is Lisa Turkhurst. And I remember
Mm.
being on the phone with her and asking this question like, I feel like the Lord is saying I need to take a break. And I am scared out of my mind because how am I going to make money?
Mm.
And I remember Lisa saying, Tony, this isn't, unfortunately, there's no rule book or manual for doing ministry. Like it's very weird. Actually, we need one. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the
Yeah.
actual problem. This is why pastors are falling because there is no manual for people in ministry to heal while leading, right?
Yes.
She said, you have to know yourself enough to know what you can handle and what you can't.
Mm.
You have to know. And the only way for you to know is for you to be consistently being advised around your emotional and mental health, meaning being in counseling, having therapy.
Yeah.
Because when you get in therapy, therapist, a really good one, and I have a Christian therapist, and that's just my preference because I need someone that knows the Lord. Okay.
Mhm.
They don't just teach you how to process your emotions, they teach you about emotions and about mental health. A lot of the things that I've learned have been literally things that I've received and then I've tried to repackage for the Christian community. Truth is, I know myself and we talk about this in the course too. Like we have levels to brokenness where it's just, one level of brokenness, it's a traumatic level, it's severe. Like you have to know kind of where you are so that you can move with more grace. And that's what I
Mm.
had to do during that process. I always tell people when sharing your testimony or sharing really hard things online, you always want to share it from a place of hope and not bitterness.
Mm.
That's sort of litmus test that I figured out. And at the beginning of my divorce and just going through the process, I found out my ex-husband called me in September to tell me about being extorted and all the things. I found out real fast because I had a friend call me out because I was like making posts of me and the kids and they were kind of like sly remarks. It was, I was kind of like jabbing him a little bit. And my friend was like, hey, that's not how we need to go about it, which is why you need people in your life. And I remember Gerald Fadiomi, he's a pastor here in Georgia, and he just was like, "This is not the way, Tony. I don't want to see you slandering your ex. I know it's hard, but you are leading right now from a place of bitterness and not hope. And that's not who you are." And so I needed to get offline, I needed to get off stage, and I needed to take some time to heal and to be with my family and my children. And here's what I love that you said, Hannah. This whole healing thing is not about being perfect, right? And it also is a very holy thing.
Mm.
Like, I want to look more like Jesus. And I just don't know if Jesus would be on social media throwing jabs at my ex-husband. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And so it's so beautifully intertwined, this healing journey, this wholeness journey, this
Mm.
holiness journey. If I want to look more like Jesus, I actually have to go be healed enough to handle my ex-husband who deeply betrayed me. I need to be able to treat him like Jesus would. I gotta go heal it so that when I speak about him, it comes from a place of hope and not bitterness. And I think that's the litmus test that we need to stand by.
That's
Mhm.
so powerful. There's this fine line between sharing from a vulnerable space, like being
Girl,
honest and authentic in the faith journey, and then also like, okay, maybe that one wasn't ready. Maybe we're serving up
okay,
some raw meat on that one.
get off of Facebook right now, girl. You done told all your business on the internets, okay? Please.
Mhm. Yes, and but the thing is it is hard to
Yes.
retreat to that quiet place of hidden healing work with the Lord. And I think because it's not glamorous, we're like, I'd rather skip that. Like,
Don't want to do that.
but the real healing that we want
Yeah.
comes from that place where we're willing to just be still for a while.
Yeah.
Remember the truth about who our God actually is and what that means for us as a broken people who are trying to heal and walk this well.
Yeah.
And so, gosh, it's hard to like carry that tension. And I love what you said as well about how there's so many leaders who feel that pressure to just like, or whether you're leading like as a mom or whether you're leading in a ministry, like it is hard sometimes to be going through a healing process and not give yourself the space that you need to just process that
Yeah.
before you keep putting out content and putting out messages, like sometimes we have to pause, and the healing journey is not linear and sometimes it takes a long time, but
Yeah.
are we willing to just sit there with the Lord?
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable. It's hard.
Very. Okay. Because what was that? December, January, Feb. No, no, I actually started in November. I was like, this is dumb. I'm out here with these kids. I ain't making no money. Okay. I said, Lord, what is about to happen? And the Lord provided every single one of our needs. We did not miss
Mm,
on rent. I paid that freaking lawyer way too much money. Okay. My parents helped. My friends furnished our house. It's literally the Bible. It's the early church. It's that everyone gave and everyone had what they needed. I just have seen that over and over again by the power of the Holy Spirit. Like I didn't know what I was going to do about health insurance. And we got
mm.
free insurance. I don't even know how. The Lord one night told me to apply in October, and I was like, "Okay, I don't really know how that's going to happen." And my whole family has free insurance. I don't know how it happened. Crazy. Our house flooded in January of 2024 for no random reason, but a random pipe broke. And then my friend Lindsay bought us a rug for our living room. And my friends came over and vacuumed out the house. Like, it's just God and his people. And that's how you're going to make it through. God and his people every single time.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, and I know that you have this new book coming out as well. When healing, okay, because let's be honest here, I'm more of an introvert than you are, girl.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I'm going through it,
Everybody.
I'm tempted to isolate. But
Sure.
how do we stay engaged in the body, in
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
when we're going through this stuff?
Okay, so this is really fun because this is my first time talking about the new book on a podcast. This is the
Oh my
moment.
god.
But it was amazing. It was the Lord's timing in so many ways. And this book is the Lord's timing in so many ways. It's called Don't Try This Alone: How to Build Deep Community When You Want to Hide from Your Pain. Emphasis on the word
Mm,
deep, not your sandwich friends who you got at work telling all your business and HR is going to call you when you get fired. Intentional friends that know you deeply, that see you, that know how to soothe you, that really have created secure attachment in your life and create safety for you. It has been a journey of doing just that. Like, when I had to so I had another book that I was supposed to write and release, and because of the divorce, it was on sanctification, which was just not a beautiful topic when your ex-husband is a pastor and a cheater and all these things.
Mm.
And so I had to write a new book. And I remember I called Lisa Turkhurst, I called Jenny Allen, and I was like, "What? Like, I can't write a book. I'm like dying over here. Like, help. Like, what's happening?" And I
Mm.
remember Lisa saying, "This would be the most powerful book you'll ever write because you're writing
Mm.
it from a real, authentic place of pain." I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "What am I going to write about?" And when I sat down with my publishers and I thought about the last year that I've been walking through that, the thing that I had the most to say about was how my people came through for me. Just yesterday, my au pair, Anna, she's from Brazil. She lives with us and helps with the kids. She said, "Man, Tony, I can remember last year and a half ago, 2 years ago, like, I was so worried about you." She was like, "I was even
Mm.
talking to my counselor about how worried I was because you weren't sleeping and you weren't eating. And we could see you were so sick." And, um, and I said, "Yeah, I know." And everybody held my arms up. My friends, friends who I don't even know, leaders in ministry, they believed me. They believed that I loved Jesus and that I did do everything I could to fight for my marriage. And they stood by me, like fighting for me on my behalf because I couldn't fight. And you just need people. You
Mhm.
need people like in regular life, like just to live your life. How much more do you need people when you are fighting with everything in you to hold on, to protect your family, to get up and eat? And in this book, I talk about it because I just feel like that's what we do. Introvert, extrovert, whoever. We hide when we're in pain because shame says they won't show up. They'll leave us. They'll talk about us. They'll gossip about us. I'll be seen
Mm.
as it. This infuses all those things into us. We've been hurt before. We've been betrayed before. Friends aren't good. Women are catty. All the things. And then you wake up one day and you realize that you actually don't have the strength to do it yourself.
Mm.
And you realize how much you need people. And it's in that moment that I was like, I know what I'm gonna write about. I'm gonna tell people the truth that
Yeah.
you cannot do this alone at all. I know you can't, okay? Because I tried
Mm.
it. Strong cookie. I've got a lot of capacity. I've been healing for a long time now, and I couldn't do it because of the weight of the pain. Not alone. And so that's
Mm.
the book, and I'm excited about it.
Whew. Yeah, I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I just honor your faithfulness to the process and
yeah,
trusting God with every step because it's true. Like
yeah,
there are people who are struggling and they feel shame
yeah.
because good Christians don't struggle with that. Good
Oh,
Christians don't get mad at God. Good Christians don't struggle with doubt. But we're out here, we're struggling with
struggling.
it.
I don't know
We
who lied
need
to
each
y'all.
other.
Doing the best we can.
Right. Ah, in my seasons where I have just realized the same things where it's like, I would not have gotten out of that pit if someone
Girl.
wasn't dragging me up. But it's so real though. And I just love that you are giving language to this tension that so many of us feel, this temptation to isolate or to hide when we're going through these really real things that don't
Yeah,
have to be the end for us. They don't have to be the end of our story.
yeah,
It can be the beginning of this testimony that makes us stronger. And like, just the kindness of God that he has made us, like designed us to operate as this body. Like
yeah,
we need each other. We have
yeah,
to be in community. Like you said, not just for the valley moments, but for all of faith. Like
yeah,
that is how we get well. That's how we stay healthy.
yeah.
Having people show us our blind spots, call us out, like I love it. There's so much more that we could talk about. Like we've
Gosh, I
literally
know.
barely scratched the surface on
Yeah,
this, but I have to know before we go, if
yeah,
there's a woman listening and
yeah,
she's like, "Tony, I hear what you're saying.
yeah,
Like I want to trust that God has good things for me, but if I'm being so real right now, like I literally cannot see past this day. Like I don't know how to hold on to hope. Like how can I keep believing
yeah,
that God can use this mess?" What
yeah.
would you say to her?
I think so I would simply first say, let him surprise you.
Mm.
I don't think that the Lord is asking any of us to have the faith the size of mountains. Actually, The Bible said that we actually only have to believe the size of a little itty bitty witty mustard seed. I don't think he's calling us to a perfect faith. I think he's calling us to a willing faith.
Mm.
Are you willing to just keep believing, even if it's just a little bit? Because for some of us, that's all we had.
Yeah.
In September and October of 2024, all I had was a tiny, itty bitty piece of faith. And I was mad at God. Okay.
Mm.
And he wasn't calling me to somehow muster up some sort of false feeling about him. He just was calling me not to let go. Um, whew, that got me. I think in my not letting go, I have been so surprised at how much he's so willing to surprise us with our little faith. How willing he is to say, if you're only able to do 10%, I'll do the 90. And when
Mm.
you give 50%, I'll do the 50. He's coming after the one. That's how he's fashioned. That's how he's designed to drop everything, leave the ones that are doing well, and to come after you with your little itty bitty 10%.
Mm.
Let him surprise you. Feel all the feelings. Don't hide it. Don't numb it. Say it. Name it. Stand in it. I'm just not feeling it right now. And let him surprise you. And he will every single time.
Oh, I love it. Toni, I
Okay.
just adore you. Oh, this is so
Okay.
good. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's great. It's perfect.
I'm gonna need Botox after these podcasts with all these frownies. What are they called? Jesus.
Oh man. Oh, it's so good. Well,
I'm crying.
Toni, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story, for this book, these books that you've written, and all these things. Like, I just appreciate you. So tell everybody where they need to go from here to stay connected with you.
Okay, guys. ToniJCollier.com has all the things. I mean, I think it has like my Instagram and all the things. So ToniJCollier.com. And for those of you wondering, I don't know if I'm ever going to change my last name. Okay. Stuck with it right now. It's all over books and the podcast. It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. ToniJCollier.com. My new book is called Don't Try This Alone. It is everywhere. Target picked it up. Barnes and Noble. Which is crazy. I'm like, what's even happening? And I think it's so good. I honestly have not said that about any of the other things I've written. Okay. But because I was so weak when writing it just is the hand of God all over it. And I just think it'll encourage you to stop hiding, to get into community. And it's super practical too, because I am a practical Patty. So there's a lot of like, do this, don't do that type things in there,
Love.
which I think is like excellent. But yeah, that's it.
Well, you guys already know. I'll make sure everything is linked for you. You got to get this book. You got to connect with Toni. There's nothing but more goodness where this came from.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. It's going to be so good. So thank you again, Toni, for being here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune in to another episode of the Byword Show. I love having you here, and your support truly means the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, would you leave a quick review? It really helps our community grow and reach more women. If you want more, you can shop my books, Waking Up, Living Open, and Love Is on Amazon, and be sure to sign up for my email list so you always get the latest news. I can't wait to chat again soon, but in the meantime, be sure to come hang out with me on social media, and remember, I'm cheering you on.